Hi everyone, welcome back into another episode of Matt Sports Talk, and we are in this video recapping the women's side of things. So without further ado, we are going to dive into that. And looking at the first matchup takes us to Fort Wayne. Number 6 St. Francis hosted Mount Vernon Nazarene. St. Francis, the winners here, 86-51, and they forced Mount Vernon Nazarene into 15 turnovers and scored 30 points off of that. So obviously that made all the difference. Now, there were some bright spots for the Cougars, 11 points each from Lily Shepard and Kylie Lobbacher. For Shepard, 11 points, 3 of 9 shooting, 4 of 4 at the line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. 11 points for Lobbacher, 4 of 9 shooting, 3 of 5 of that was from beyond the arc. 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 5 points for Angela Roshak, but she did have 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block, though. And Naomi Kaib did not score, but she did have 2 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. And Olivia Skillings also did not score, but she had 2 rebounds and an assist. And then off the bench, you had Melody Bluebaugh with 9 points with an assist and a rebound. Only 2 points for Abigail Hardwick, but she had a rebound and an assist, though. And only 3 points for Jenna Brumbaugh in 4 minutes of action, 1 of 1 shooting, which was all from beyond the arc, with 1 rebound. And 10 points for Anna Swisshelm off the bench, 4 of 4 at the charity stripe, 3 of 6 shooting with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And the Cougars really struggled. The Cougars out of Mount Vernon, I should add, really struggled shooting at 33. Struggled from 3 mightily at 22. Now, one bright spot, they were really good at the charity stripe, converting 10 out of 12 for 83%. Meanwhile, for St. Francis, they only had 5 turnovers compared to 15 for the MVNU Cougars, so that made all the difference there. St. Francis, though, shot way, way better from the field at 55 and humongously better from 3 at 61%. Now, the one downside for St. Francis was they did struggle at the charity stripe, converting 11 out of 17 for 64%. And I apologize that my iPhone screen appears a little bit tilted since I kind of have it, tilted a little bit at an angle on one of my bed pillows recording this. So I apologize that my screen seems a little tilted, and that's the reason why. So looking at stats for St. Francis, they were led by Isabella Gizzi, had an outstanding game, 23 points, 8 of 14 shooting, 5 of 7 from downtown, 2 of 2 at the line, 5 rebounds, and a steal. Taylor Fordyce, only 1 point, so really, really surprising to see that result, but she did have 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, though. 14 points for Julia Mantilla, 5 of 6 shooting, 4 of 4 that was from beyond the arc, 2 rebounds for her, and you also had only 9 points for Callie Gregory, all 4 of 8 shooting, but Gregory did have 8 rebounds and 3 steals, though, so really, really good to see that. And then Renna Schweiderman also went off, 22 points, 10 of 19 shooting, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. And off the bench, you had Samaya Stout with 3 points. That was all at the free throw line with 2 rebounds plus 3 assists and 1 steal. And you also had Ashley Cox only with 2 points and 5 minutes of action with a rebound and an assist. Allison Show, 8 minutes of action, 8 points, 3 of 3 shooting, 2 of 2 from downtown with plus a rebound. 2 points for Emma Royce, which was all charity stripe, 3 rebounds plus an assist. And Rachel Harshman, 2 points and an assist and a steal. And then in 5 minutes of action, Diona Craig did not score. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup takes us to Upland, Indiana, where Taylor hosted Grace. And the first time these two teams met, Taylor won in a big comeback win. And this time, Taylor, though, prevailed start to finish, 88-75. And Grace had some really, really good scoring, led by Emma Sperry, 23 points. Really no surprise here. 5 of 13 from downtown, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Really, really good productive numbers there. 19 points for Becca Gert, 16 rebounds, so a double-double for her. Six steals, though, as well. 2 blocks, 2 assists. So, again, really, really good numbers there. 6 points for Braylon Terrell with 9 rebounds plus a steal and a block. 11 points for Morgan Hauk. Struggled shooting, but she did have 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, though. 10 points for Maddie Pointer with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. And then off the bench, you had Becca Longenbaugh, 6 points, 2 of 6 shooting, 2 of 5 of that was from downtown with 2 rebounds plus an assist and a steal. And Riley Wetz did not score, but she did have 1 rebound and a steal, though. And then Ava Yordi played 1 minute of action, did not score, but she did have a rebound plus an assist, though. And the Lancers shot 34 from the field, 24 from 3, and they were not great at all from the free throw line, converting just 5 out of 15 for 33%. And that really made a big difference there. Taylor, though, shot way better from the field at 52, way better from 3 at 44, and way better at the free throw line, converting 6 out of 8 for 75%. And looking at the stats for Taylor, they were led by really who else? Casey Warfel, 35 points, 15 of 23 shooting, 5 of 6 of that was from beyond the arc, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks though. You also had 12 points for Maddie Allen, 5 of 12 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. 3 points for Emma Full, but she did have 3 rebounds plus 2 assists, 2 steals though. And 15 points for Quinn Kelly off 6 of 8 shooting with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and then only 4 points for Selena Blount, but she did have 10 rebounds, and she also had 2 assists and 2 blocks. And off the bench, Kendall Seitzema with 10 points, 6 rebounds plus a steal and a block. And Marissa Trout did not score, but she did have 1 rebound though. And then 7 points for Emma Anselet off the bench with 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup takes us to Huntington, Indiana, where the Foresters hosted the Cougars of Spring Arbor. The Foresters, though, were perfect at home coming in, but that is no longer. Spring Arbor prevailing here, 81-52, off a really, really big second half. That is for sure. And the Cougars sweeping the Foresters both times this year. And for the Cougars, they had some really, really good productive score, a really balanced scoring all the way around. 15 points for Megan Zeitz, 5 of 6 shooting, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Only 4 points for Emma Smyska, but she did have 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, though. 9 points for Ashley Weller, 4 of 8 shooting with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals. 13 points for Elena Kolesa with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. 6 of 8 shooting for Kolesa, so really, really good numbers there. And then 11 points for Haven Chapman. She struggled shooting, but she did have 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, though. And off the bench in 3 minutes and 7 minutes of action, Elena Blumberg, 3 points, 1 of 1 shooting, which was all from downtown, plus a rebound. 4 points for Lexi Linder, and 7 minutes, which was all at the charity stripe. She had 1 steal as well. 4 points for Madison Socini in 10 minutes of action with 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And you had 4 points for Rachel Reichard in just 4 minutes of action, I might add. It's really, really good to see that. 1 assist as well for her. 9 points for Rylan Goodwin, 3 of 7 shooting to a 4 from downtown, 2 rebounds plus a steal. 4 points for Aubrey Crockett, and she also had 2 rebounds. Only 1 point for Aubrey Calloway, but that was at the charity stripe though. And then in 4 minutes of action, Kylie Summer had a steal plus a rebound. And in 4 minutes of action, making her collegiate debut on the main varsity team, being called up from JV, Cami Boonstra with her debut on the big varsity team. In 4 minutes of action, she did not score, but she did have 2 rebounds though. And Spring Arbor shot really good from the field at 50, really good from 3 at 43, and decent at the free throw line, converting 14 out of 20 for 70%. Meanwhile, for the Foresters, they shot way worse from the field at 30, way worse from 3 at 21. They were identical at the free throw line, converting 17 out of 24, also for 70%. And the one bright spot for the Foresters, Annika Nelson, 11 points. Now, 5 of the 11 were at the free throw line, though, but she did have 1 rebound plus a block. 8 points for Addie Shank. 4 of the 8 were at the charity stripe, though. 5 rebounds, 1 steal. 9 points for Liv Rady. 5 of the 9 were at the free throw line. 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. Only 6 points for Kendra Sheets. 3 rebounds and 3 assists, though, and only 2 points for Tegan Akers, but she did have 7 rebounds plus an assist and 2 steals, though, so really, really good to see that. And then off the bench, Izzy Shepard, 4 points with 1 rebound and a steal, and then 3 points for Peyton Hartsoe with 2 rebounds, and 3 points for Lauren Merritt with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block, and 6 points for Kendall Yoakum with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup takes us to Indianapolis, Indiana, where number 4 Marion faced off against Bethel. First time these two teams met, it was a 13-point game. This time around, it was a little bit more than that. This time an 18-point win for the Lady Knights off of a big third quarter, outscoring Bethel 24-15. And for the Knights, well, I'll get to them in a second. But looking at the stats first for Bethel, they had 19 turnovers compared to only 11 for Marion. And for the Pilots, they were led by Isabel Scales. Didn't really do that bad. 13 points, 4 of 9 shooting, with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. Only 3 points for Olivia Nickerson, but she did have 4 rebounds and 2 assists, though. Only 8 points for Isabella No. 2 of 4 from downtown, though, so not too bad there at all. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals for her. And 8 points for Jasmine Smith. 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. 10 points for Mariah Claywell. 2 of 3 from downtown. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals for her. And off the bench, you had Hannah Ruddle in 9 minutes of action, had 2 assists, 6 points for Jocelyn Marshall, 2 of 3 from downtown in just 9 minutes of action, plus 2 rebounds. And you also had Faith Fleetwood getting some playing time, did not score. Justice Williams, 2 points with 2 rebounds. 2 points for Love Rain Gaskins with 2 rebounds as well. And 4 points for Dominique Stilley with 3 rebounds plus a steal. And then Annabelle Wilhite in 2 minutes of action did not score either. And the Pilots, 39 from the field, 38 from 3. It's not too terribly bad, but obviously you would have loved to have seen those numbers improve. Really struggled at the free throw line, converting 7 out of 13 for just 53%. Meanwhile, for Marion, they were way better shooting at 45, worse from 3 at 27. They were better at the free throw line, converting 17 out of 21 for 81%. And they were led by, really, who else? Abby McNally, no surprise here, just a heck of a player. Man, she is just, like, it's crazy. I mean, crazy in a good way that, a player like her, this is just such a well-deserved achievement. And she now has set a single season scoring record for most points scored in one game. Most points scored in one game in a season, 39 points for Abby McNally, just absolutely amazing. And that breaks her previous high single game scoring record of 38 that was set back during the 2024/25 season at Grace in November of 2024. So really good to see this out of Abby McNally. 39 points, 16 rebounds, another double-double, 5 of 6 at the line, 17 of 24 shooting with 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Only 2 points for Kenna Kirby, but she had 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals though. 8 points for Olivia Faust, 2 of 4 from downtown, 2 of 2 at the line with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. 10 points for Taylor Double, 3 of 7 shooting, 3 of 3 at the line with 3 assists and 2 steals though. Only 1 point from Madison Bailey, but that was at the charity stripe. 5 assists, 5 steals, 1 block, 2 rebounds. And off the bench, you had Aubrey Frank, had 1 rebound in 9 minutes of action. Emma Simpson in 2 minutes of action with a rebound. 9 points for Kylie McNally, 5 of 6 at the charity stripe with 3 rebounds and 2 blocks though. And then you also had Violet Shuluga getting some playing time, did not score in 2 minutes of action. Zoe Wheeler had 2 points in 10 minutes of action. Eva Fisher, 1 point and 11 minutes of action, plus a steal, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. And Emily Grimm, 2 points in 4 minutes of action with a steal. And that was your matchup there. The final matchup takes us to Goshen, Indiana, where the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan faced off against the Maple Leafs. And the first time these two teams met, it was 92-46 at home for the Wildcats back in November. This time, believe it or not, they held Goshen to just 47 points, so 1 point more than the first time these two teams met. So that was really impressive. Now the Wildcats, on the flip side of that, they scored 26 points less than what they did the first time. But obviously, Goshen's a really tough place to play in. So again, not really surprised at that. But the Wildcats did have some really good productive scoring. And of course, for the Wildcats, they did all of this without Emily Mattingly, who is their 3rd leading scorer this year, and really somebody off the bench that has provided such a huge spark for this team. And unfortunately, she's dealing with some injuries right now, which obviously my hope and prayer is that she gets, that God heals her very quickly and that she gets back playing very soon. That is for sure. And obviously you hate to see, anybody be injured, especially at this point of the year when you're down to your last 8 games in conference play. The postseason's right around the corner. The league tournament, potentially a national tournament bid, which as of right now, the Lady Wildcats would be in the national tournament. But obviously at this point, you just want to focus on one game at a time, get as many wins as you can, and most of all, you hope and pray that Mattingly is back returning in the lineup here very soon. That's the most important thing, that God heals her and she gets back fully healthy. But outside of that, obviously outside of that being the most important thing, you really want to see some other players step up into some huge roles for the Lady Wildcats this year. And I think we've seen that these last 2 games with Jade Hovey, that has just played absolutely amazing, and we really haven't seen this out of her all season long. Of course, she was hurt all last year, so maybe she was just a little bit rusty, so to speak, the beginning part of the first half of this year. But man, these last 2 games, she has just played outstanding. Of course, we saw this last year, literally at the same exact time 1 year ago when IWU star player Lily Frazier got hurt. She was a senior last year. And when she got hurt, Ellie Kelleher, really, really stepped up. And Emily Mattingly, as far as that goes, that they were really the two players off the bench that really sparked the Lady Wildcats last year without Frazier, and now this year without Mattingly. Literally about 1 year to the date, where now you have Mattingly injured, and it's kind of obviously it's just kind of crazy to think about that. Literally 1 year exactly to the day that one of your other star players is injured, and you obviously you hope and pray that she gets back fully healthy. But like I said, you really want to see some other players step up, and I think Jade Hovey could easily do that, and I also think Ellie Kelleher can really do that again this year. Yeah, and obviously you're to the point you're only one game out of 4th and 5th place right now, but again you want to stay up in the top 4 or 5. This Lady Wildcat team, they are going to have to, come together as a group and play the hardest that they've ever played, try to pick up as many wins as they can. And obviously, we've seen with Ayla Krieger and Addie Hovey, as well these last 2 games, really, starting yesterday in the absence of Mattingly, both Krieger and Hovey, both just really, really stepped up. Of course, Addie had 15 points yesterday, Jade 12, Ayla 22. So, again, if you can have that good balanced scoring between those 3 players moving forward these last 8 games of the regular season, you're going to be setting yourself up for a lot of success heading into the league tournament and potentially the national tournament. And I think that needs to be, a big emphasis, moving forward. If it was me, moving forward in practice and then going into each and every game, and obviously you're to the meat of your schedule these next 4 games when you're going up against the 4 best teams that are ahead of you, or the 5 best teams that are ahead of you. So, this is kind of, down to the nitty gritty, and obviously, you want these 3 players to keep playing this well moving forward, and I know they can, I believe they can, and I'm really, really excited to see how this Lady Wildcat team responds to more adversity. Unfortunately, more adversity at this point of the season. They responded to the previous adversity really, really well. The first half of the season, they did lose quite a few games before in the first half of the year when they were dealing with injuries, and they responded well to that. They did pick up some really, really good wins. And something else that I've seen too is they're picking up more wins on the road, figuring out how to close out games on the road, which was a huge struggle the first half of the year. So there's already improvement going into the second half of the season officially right now, which obviously is a very positive sign, and we definitely hope that continues building momentum on the road, and most importantly now building more momentum at home, because you only have a couple more games on the road. I believe they're only down to 3 more games on the road with St. Francis this Saturday, at Spring Arbor the following Saturday. Yeah, so they're only down to 3 more home games, or 3 more road games, I should say. And then, of course, you have your home game against Taylor coming up Wednesday, and Huntington the following Wednesday, Mount Vernon Nazarene the Wednesday after that, Marion the Wednesday after that, and then so literally 5 out of the last 8 games are at home. So that is a very, very good sign for the Wildcats, and I know that they can, just like what we've seen on the road these last 2 road games, they have been able to close out tight games, and now despite losing a star player, these Lady Wildcats, they fought through that adversity very, very well, and I think that they will continue to turn this corner into a brand new season, and obviously 1-0. We're 1-0 now in the second half of the season, so that's obviously a very encouraging sign, and let's just hope and pray that continues. So looking at stats for the Wildcats, Ayla Krieger, 22 points, a career high yesterday, so a huge congratulations to her, and she did it as a freshman, I might add. 9 of 17 shooting, 3 of 5 from downtown, 1 of 1 at the line, 6 rebounds, 4 assists though. Only 3 points for Kylie Bettinger, but she did have 2 rebounds plus 2 assists though. 15 points for Addie Hovey, 6 of 15 shooting, 3 at the line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. 12 points for Jade Hovey with 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal. And for Jade, she has a double-double. So, man, what a wonderful and great sign to see, that is for sure. 4 of 9 shooting to a 3 from deep to a 4 at the charity stripe. 4 points for Tori Thompson, but she had 3 assists, though. And then you also had off the bench Sophia Schroeder, in 2 minutes of action did not score, but she did have 1 rebound, though. And in 10 minutes of action, Haley Amy did not score, but she had 4 rebounds and 2 steals, though. So really, really good to see that. Man, she is just an absolute great player on defense, that is for sure. 2 minutes of action, Sydney Gooden did not score, which, again, it's a great sign to see her back playing, as in the first time against Goshen at home, she got injured, her ankle got injured, and she was out for literally about 2 months after that. So great to see her back playing. And then Corinne Grivey, 8 points, 3 of 4 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and she can be another player, she can be another player off the bench that provides a big spark for this Lady Wildcat offense. So I'm really excited to see how all that plays out. Only 2 points for Mila Browning, which was a charity stripe, 4 rebounds plus a steal. And then Ellie Kelleher, in 9 minutes of action, did not score, but she did have 1 assist, though. The Wildcats shot 41 from the field, 38 from 3, 66 at the line, converting 8 out of 12, so not too terribly bad. That is for sure. And then for the Maple Leafs, they shot worse from the field at 39, worse from 3 at 27, way worse at the charity stripe, converting just 10 out of 22 for 45%. And they were led by Kyla Foster with 6 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 points for Lucia Luke Morales, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 points for Lillian Nall with 2 assists and 2 steals. And then Kyla Smith, only 3 points with a rebound and an assist, and 5 points for Nyesha Goss with 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, 5 points for her off the bench. Paulisia Islam, 4 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 9 points for Ziane Finesse, 4 or 5 at the line with 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. 6 points for Ava Egolf with 2 rebounds plus an assist and a steal. 2 points for Sarah Elfrey with 7 rebounds and 2 assists. And then 8 points for Carrie Heiler, 2 of 4 shooting, which was all from deep. And that was your matchup there. So that concludes all of the games recapping from yesterday. So I'll be recording a video tomorrow with you going over the updated RPI numbers. Make sure that you stay tuned for that. So going over the upcoming games for Wednesday, Goshen will be at Bethel. Huntington will be at Mount Vernon Nazarene. Receiving votes, Huntington at Mount Vernon Nazarene. And really, America's game of the week, you'll have number 4 Marion at number 21 Spring Arbor. Number 6 St. Francis will be at Grace. And receiving votes, Taylor at Indiana Wesleyan. So really good games coming up on Wednesday. Then looking at the standings, St. Francis, the 1 seed at 9-1. Marion and Spring Arbor tied for the 2 and the 3 at 8-2. Marion, though, holding that head-to-head tiebreaker as of now. They have a 2-game lead over Taylor and Huntington, tied for the 4 and the 5 at 6-4 in the conference. And then, of course, the Wildcats are solely the 6 seed at 5-5 in the conference. You have Bethel, solely the 7 seed at 4-6. In the conference, they hold a 2-game lead over Grace and Mount Vernon Nazarene for the final playoff spot. Grace and Mount Vernon Nazarene fighting for that final playoff spot to be the 8th and final team in the league tournament. Both are 2-8 in the conference, and Goshen 0-10 in the conference. Overall, St. Francis 19-1, Marion 18-2, Spring Arbor 17-3, Taylor 16-4, Huntington 14-6, the Wildcats, Lady Wildcats 11-7, Bethel 13-7, Grace 10-10, Mount Vernon Nazarene 6-14, and Goshen 3-17. So that is an updated view of that. So if you did enjoy this video, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. I truly appreciate any feedback that you may provide me. And for those of you that are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for joining. So I really appreciate that. And please keep on subscribing so you are first notified whenever I upload new episodes. And again, my goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of December of this year, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for tuning in this video, and I will see you tomorrow when I will be going over with you the updated RPI numbers on the women's side and on the men's side as well. So that should be really fun as well. Thanks again for tuning in this video, and I will see you tomorrow with my next video. God bless.